First of all, we were deeply in debt. Secondly, we are becoming an ununified profession. At the same time, we were celebrating our 100th anniversary, and we were running short of cash. Those were the major issues that I was faced as soon as I walked in. We started by negotiating with Aetna, who held our mortgage. They wanted to get rid of the building, and we took that building, for which we had a $15 million indebtedness, and eventually negotiated down to where it ended up saved the profession something like $9 million. We have three segments in our profession: the Hospital Association, the colleges, and naturally our association. I liken that to a three-legged stool, and the fact that if one leg was loose or not there, that stool could not stand and be unified. My goal was to try to get all three segments talking to each other. At that point, when I took over, there was no coherence whatsoever. One of the ways we got them to talk with us is to offer them a seat at the board and the Hospital Association, and likewise the colleges accepted it, and we got to be able to communicate. By communicating, we became a little more understanding of each other's problems, and I felt by the end of my year we were getting more unified. Our Washington office, along with some committee people, decided that we should, as a profession, come up with a statement as to what we feel should be true healthcare reform. And it brought quite a bit of interest, to a point that we ended up hearing a lot from quite a few legislators. Michael Lux, who is the liaison from the White House for healthcare reform, contacted me and wanted me to come to Washington once again and talk with them about our issues, which I did. And as a result, then, this ended up getting us a inroad with the HHS secretary at that time, Donna Shalala, and got to talk with her and give our concerns about healthcare reform and where we stood with it. It gave us an inroad with the Washington offices there, especially with the White House. And since then, we've had a tremendous amount of requests, and they treat us now as being a very important portion of American care. People don't realize and know that so many physicians end up giving free care. We decided to come up with a program we called it Share the Care, and we went out and found out physicians throughout the country that were doing things of this nature. When they did that, we ended up giving them a special recognition award, and likewise publicized the fact that physicians were caring, and that's where we talked about Share the Care. We had our 100th anniversary, and we had created what was called a caravan. We crisscrossed the country with these two 18-wheelers, and every city that we went to, we got volunteers. The volunteers usually were the local physicians. If they were in a medical student area, the medical students volunteered very easily. What it was a screening device. Some lab work was done, heart and lungs and blood pressure checks and things of that nature. We decided that what would occur is that we should finish up the caravan by ending it in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. And it was just a phenomenal feeling for me as president to go to the top of that Washington monument, look down and see these osteopathic tents waving in a breeze, and all these people waiting to be cared for. It's interesting how I got into osteopathic medicine. My mom was being treated at that time by a DO. I got enthralled with the fact of what he was doing and applied, and 2 weeks later I got accepted, and I started medical school itself. I always wanted to become an orthopedic surgeon. I was involved with a lot of sporting activities. I knew so many people in Michigan, and just decided to stay there. It was a better state for me to practice osteopathic orthopedic surgery. I knew the problems I had in getting recognition for being an orthopedic surgeon. Had trouble attending some conferences. They wouldn't accept me because I was, quote, an osteopath. And I said, something's got to be done about this, and we got to change this. Started attending our Wayne County Osteopathic Association meetings, and very readily got on the board of directors. And then from there on in, I just kept on blossoming up and being involved more and more with the osteopathic profession. This profession is such a great profession for me. I needed to give something back, and giving something back was being involved deeply. Paul Mitros and I interned together, took our residencies together. In fact, we practiced together in the same office, which is sort of unusual to get an obstetrician and a orthopedist in the same office. But he got involved even earlier than I did, and he was the one that kept on coming back to me and said, this is what you got to do, and this is what you got to be involved in. And then in Michigan, naturally, there's Frank McDevitt, who was our past president of AOA, who was also very influential here not only in Michigan, but here at the AOA. And so I think these two people probably influenced me most in becoming involved with the osteopathic profession. During my presidency, I made it quite well known that I wanted the young people to be involved. They are the major portion of our profession, and got involved with the students. The students I just loved being with. I visited, at that time we have 15 colleges. I visited every one of them. I had a roundtable discussion with them. They were asked to give me input as to what they thought the AOA should be doing for them. They put them down on 3x5 cards. I brought them back to the AOA headquarters. They collated them, and then I would end up addressing this by assigning certain members of our board to issues that they could take care of for the students.